Good evening, London. I do, like many of you, appreciate the comforts of the everyday routine, the security of the familiar, the tranquility of repetition.
Bloody hell.
I enjoy them as much as any bloke. Taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat. There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak.
You having a global media enterprise, I mean, have you shaped that agenda at all in terms of perceptions of the war, in terms of how the war is viewed?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we've tried. I mean, we've tried.
It's sort of like terrorism. You know, we don't know where to aim our bombs, so we can't go after a country because there are, you know, there's no one place to focus on it. And it's the same thing with the internet. You can't really, you don't know who to go after.
And finding good journalists is very, very difficult, but there are a few. And what I would say to you all is to go onto the internet and find them and learn to trust your sources and try and seek corroboration.
Beside Mr. Griffin sat David Duke. Mr. Duke is a former leader of the Ku Klux Klan, an organisation with a violent history of lynchings and murders of blacks.
There's a difference between selling out your ideas and selling your ideas. And the British National Party isn't about selling out its ideas, which are your ideas too, but we are determined now to sell them. And that means basically to use these saleable words, as I say, freedom, security, identity, democracy. Nobody can criticise them. Nobody can come at you and attack you on those ideas. They are saleable. Perhaps one day, once, by being rather more subtle, we've got ourselves in a position where we control the British broadcasting media, then perhaps one day the British people might change their mind and say, yes, every last one must go. By being rather more subtle, we've got ourselves in a position where we control the British broadcasting media, then perhaps one day the British people might change their mind and say, yes, every last one must go.
What are we holding on to, Sam? There's some good in this world, Mr. Fertile. And it's worth fighting for.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creeds. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Well, anytime you live in a society supposedly based upon law, and it doesn't enforce its own law because the color of a man's skin happens to be wrong, then I say those people are justified to resort to any means necessary to bring about justice where the government can't give them justice. And when one is moderate in the pursuit of justice for human beings, I say he's a sinner. But if you sit around and wait for the one who's in power to make up his mind that he should end it, you'll be waiting a long time. And in my opinion, the young generation of whites, blacks, browns, whatever else there is, you're living at a time of extremism, a time of revolution, a time when there's got to be a change. People in power have misused it, and now there has to be a change, and a better world has to be built, and the only way it's going to be built is with extreme methods. And I, for one, will join in with anyone, don't care what color you are, as long as you want to change this miserable condition that exists on this earth.
But if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, and if you would seek as I seek, then I ask you to stand beside me.
Ah, this is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end. But it is perhaps the end of the beginning.